we have seen you supporting the Yang Gang.
I mean, look, Andrew Yang, I think, is so fantastic.
He's like he's fresh air, right?
Yeah, and it's like, I think people have said to me things along the lines of like, why are you supporting him? He doesn't stand a chance of
He
winning.
does, though.
Okay, my response to that is irrelevant. Like,
True.
I do think he stands a chance, but let's suppose he doesn't stand a chance. I still think it's worth elevating him because he's bringing such a brilliant perspective to things. Like I heard this breakdown of his universal basic income agenda.
Dividend.
And he calls it a freedom dividend. And I do think it's smart and I do support it.
Me too.
But beyond the financial implications of it, he tied it to about like human dignity. And the fact that like when you have nothing, you lack that dignity, you lack that compassion, you lack that understanding. And if everybody has just this bare minimum safety net, it will elevate kind of dignity, it will elevate the conversation, it will elevate. And it was there's such profundity to that concept. The idea that a president, like a presidential candidate could run on something that's that, that's that like human, that's that about elevating the humans, like the way that we all feel.
Yeah. I also
I'm
love
a huge fan. I love that. I love it.
I love how everything connects when you listen to his solution. It connects everything, like mental health.
All of it. Love that guy.
Careers changing. Just everything is a part of the picture.
Yeah, it really, for me, first of all, he's definitely the dark horse. He's the only guy raising, dude. He's at like 8%. That shit.
It's insane.
He's number 4 now. And CNN and NBC
they still
don't show his face.
They still don't mention him.
Do you know why I love Yang? Even Bernie Sanders, who I'm a fan of now, almost looks... His approach looks almost dated because Andrew Yang is the only person who is looking actually into the future. These guys are trying to address these problems that we're facing now.
But next,
Andrew Yang is the only one who's saying in 20 years.
But also, it's not even in 20 years.
Right,
a lot of it is already happening.
He's right. We misclassify a lot of the problems we see in society. For example, this stuff we blame immigrants for. That's what he says. It's a robot problem, not an immigrant problem.
Yeah.
Right? And nobody else is even acknowledging that.
Yeah.
Plus his math hat.
I love that.
And plus, like, math is such a good, like, MAGA is pretty great. Like, Make America Great Again, I think, is one of the best campaign slogans ever. But Ronald Reagan created Make America Great Again.
That's old.
Oh, really?
It's old.
That.
That's like 30 years old. It's still amazing.
He bit that from Reagan.
He bit that. But
So it's a vintage
It's such a good one. But I think math might be even better. Make America Think Harder. It's so virtuous and amazing.
Yeah, it is great.
Yeah.
I rock the math hat. A lot of people ask me.
I got to get that math.
I got to get it.
Yang is a great guy, friend of the show. I got to bring him on again.
I have to say, seeing him on a show like yours shows a kind of understanding of what's needed to reach people.
Totally.
And I think a lot of Bernie Sanders was given so much credit for going on Joe Rogan's podcast, which certainly, like, God bless him, was great. And I have to say, like, I'm pretty versed when it comes to politics, and I learned about Bernie more from Joe's podcast than maybe anywhere else. But Andrew had done it weeks prior.
He was on there like 6 months.
Was he?
A year before.
He did your show. And then when I was still in New York, I DM'd him. And I was like, "Dear Mr. Yang," I wasn't actually. I was like, "Andrew," I was like, "I'd love to do an interview with you." Like, same day, text me back. He's like, "Great, Casey. Would you mind if I connected you with someone?"
Yeah.
It's like, motherfucker, you are running for president. You can connect me with whoever you want. Like, just a G. And I think that really demonstrates not just an understanding of like how do you communicate with people, but like, I don't know what your demographic is, but I assume it's younger than CNN's, and how important it is to communicate directly with that audience as to where they are.
He came here with his whole staff, and they're young people, and they're the kind of people who know who people like we are. So when I tweeted at him, I was like, "Hey, would you like to come on our podcast?" He's got people he's got good people to say this is important.
Yeah.